So, I guess this whole thing kind of started a long time ago. Not exactly when Miss Alberts first pitched us the initial idea of the Genius Project, or even later when I began forming thoughts and ideas and plans. Today, we're going to be taking it back to about 7th grade, when I attended Aviara Oaks Middle School and hated just about every last second of it. So, before I start, I want you all to visualize it with me. I'm about 4'7". I have these black rubber bands in my braces that make it look like I have flies in my mouth. I wasn't allowed to wear eyeliner, and between the fallout from my black eyeshadow and my aggressively vengeful acne, my face looked like a connect-the-dot game at all times. And naturally, when you're a fledgling pubescent goth wannabe, you tend to gravitate towards other fledgling pubescent goth wannabes. So, there's me. And my group of angry, emo 13-year-olds with all of this newfound stress and energy and emotions happening inside of us, and absolutely nowhere to put it. I mean, nobody takes me seriously, and all the adults and authority figures around me just want me to suppress all the newfound feelings that I'm having. So, during the collective sigh that everybody, including myself, participated in when I heard that I would have to complete the Genius Project to graduate senior year, I was getting flung 4 years back into the past towards my 13-year-old self, and the first scraps of an idea were forming. I knew I wanted to film something, as I've always been passionate about theater and art and writing, and that combining the three would be a rewarding challenge for me. I wanted to write, produce, and direct a film about kids. My initial concept was to show the way that different parenting styles and authority figures affect a child's growth and happiness, all without ever having a single adult in the film. It would consist of about 5 to 6 characters, all of them students, spanning from a Friday night to a Monday morning, addressing relevant struggles and fears, and you would see the way that each child was raised and influenced by the way that they interacted with one another. And I thought this was a great idea. It still is, I believe, but I'm not the right person to write it. Because after my first draft failed, I rewrote it. And then I rewrote it again. And about halfway through my third draft, I realized that every single character was me. And that's not a good thing. I mean, when you look like that, obviously, it's not a good thing. But it's not a good thing because the whole purpose of my project was to show the diversity in people. And all I was doing was writing my own experience into half a dozen different, distinct characters. And as you can imagine, a writer's block this bad can be pretty discouraging. Full disclosure, this is where I lost all of my motivation for my project, and I put it on the back burner for a while. About 5 months to be exact, where I didn't touch the Genius Project with a 10-foot pole. And then it was August, and senior year was right around the corner, and I had nothing. And then I saw this film on YouTube, Dirty Girls. It's about 20 minutes long, and it was actually made in 1996 by another high school senior at the time. It focused and explored the lives of a group of 8th grade girls who refused hygiene as a way to cope and a type of rebellion. And although I was definitely attempting a different kind of rebellion during my middle school years, it was so genuine, and I loved it. And it reminded me so much of the initial passion that I had for my project and that of my failed attempts. So this is where I shift my focus from making a short film to making a documentary. After all, who better to talk about the experiences of middle school kids than middle school kids themselves? My new goal was to capture this precious transitioning state and delve into the emotions and viewpoints of kids at this age. and I couldn't believe that I hadn't just thought of asking them outright in the first place. So I set it up. After a few meetings with Principal Brian Brockett of Aviara Oaks, I had a golden ticket back into my former middle school, and I had arranged for a set of interviews with the advanced theater kids there. I went in on a Saturday afternoon with my dad's camera and recorded roughly between 1 and 2 hours of footage. My questions focused on the ideas of self-esteem, internal and external pressures and conflicts, and creative outlets, and how they help to channel everything that they're feeling in a positive way. Not only did I learn a lot about the struggles that kids these days are facing that I didn't really have to deal with back then, ranging from a growing internet presence to the pressure to grow up and mature faster, but I also saw the overwhelming passion that these kids have for theater, for sports and arts, and for expression. My documentary, 1317, 13 for the age of most students that I interviewed and 17 for the current year and my current age, it's currently in the final stages of approval, and it will be available for everyone to see on YouTube. It's just Juliette Evans. I don't really use YouTube all that much, so that's the name. And I hope that watching it doesn't feel like looking at a computer screen, but into a mirror. Every one of us in this room used to be one of these kids, and we really can't afford to forget what it's like to be one. As I've gone through my senior year, I've just been hyper aware of this idea that I'm gonna be an adult. Like, my 18th birthday is next month. I'm not gonna be a kid anymore. I'm not gonna be experimenting or figuring things out for the first time like I did when I was 12. I'm going to college. And everybody around me that I've grown up with is going to college. And we're gonna be getting married and having kids of our own. And as parents-to-be, we can't just cast aside our youth struggles as ignorance or flair or drama or angst. Even at such a young age, the way that their problems are received really does shape their development. And we need to be offering these creative outlets for them instead of just labeling everything as temporary. Even if it is just temporary, right now it's reality. In this moment. And although, 5 minutes of their thoughts are now immortalized in some amateur student documentary, the ability to pause, rewind, and fast forward, which is all I wanted to do when I was that age, that's not available to them. We need to be there for our kids, our little sisters and our little brothers, and as much as it scares me to think about it, our daughters and our sons, and embrace them and everything they have to learn and think and feel and teach us all as they take these tentative steps towards their futures. Thank you.